I'm in London, where Dutch warship Johan de Witt, flagship of NATO's Standing Maritime Group 1, is alongside after operating in the Baltic Sea as part of NATO's Baltic Sentry mission. I'm going on board today to find out how the operation has progressed and what comes next for the mission.
When we started out in Baltic Sentry, it was a new thing. The threat was very real, very new, and we have developed since then. And I'm very happy to say that for the last half year, we haven't had any issues with critical infrastructure anymore. It's a mature operation, very vigilant is the right word I would use.
Those patrols often bring NATO ships into close contact with Russian forces in narrow waters. The Commodore says that proximity carries risk, but also a routine professionalism on both sides.
What happens there is that we're watching what they're doing. They're watching what we are doing. But having said that, when you put two opposing military forces in a small area like the Baltic, for example, you have to watch out, because that can be inherently dangerous.
On board, the Chief of Staff of Standing NATO Maritime Group 1 is Commander Craig Raeburn of the Royal Navy, the senior British officer on the Dutch-led flagship. He's the deputy to Commodore Warnaar, responsible for turning the commander's intent into action and keeping a multinational staff working to one plan.
So my role is basically to take the Commodore's strategic ideas and his strategic approach and to put them into practice. So he does this is what I want to do, and I do the execute.
Raeburn runs a multinational staff of around 20 officers: Dutch, Portuguese, Spanish, German, Polish, Swedish and Finnish. He says coordination is straightforward because NATO's command systems are built for it.
We do use common systems. Not necessarily common weapons or common platforms, but our communications and our command and control systems are very similar. We use systems called Link, which pass on information of targets and tracking information, which can be easily shared with each nation. And our communication system operates within the NATO secret boundaries.
Raeburn argues that NATO's ability to coordinate across cultures and commands is itself a form of deterrence, a visible demonstration of unity at sea.
Well, it shows that we have that capability, and it is the message that we have stronger together, because we multiply our forces. Not necessarily to that extent, because there'll always be some disadvantages when you're not working with identical systems and identical ways of thinking. But what it means is we can work together and we can operate together, and that's a real challenge for a single state that wants to put up a threat. And I think we've demonstrated it over the years when we've been working in allied environments, that we can put forces together and we can work together to counter individual threats. And it does, together as NATO, we are, considerably stronger than any other nation in the world. Really any other nation, especially when we bring the US to bear in that force. So no, it is that case of being stronger together, I think.
Despite the decrease in incidents affecting critical infrastructure in the Baltic since this operation began, NATO isn't easing its presence. The alliance's ships continue to patrol, to watch and to be seen. It's incredibly clear that vigilance itself is part of the deterrent. The watch will continue as long as the threat persists.
And I think it has had its effect. That doesn't mean it's over. The threat is still very real. Our critical infrastructure is vulnerable, so we will remain there for as long as necessary.